So now let's talk about how to stop worrying and stop fearful thinking. So sometimes your thoughts are directly related to what is currently happening, but most of the time, your mind is thinking about something else. In the case of a crisis, an illness, or other challenging experience, it can be really easy to get carried away with worry and fearful thinking. So the most important thing that you can learn how to do during a situation like this is to distinguish between the fear you're experiencing in the moment, what's actually happening now, which would be considered like biological fear, it's legit, versus fear that you're experiencing because of an idea or an expectation of the future, which would be psychological fear. So even in a situation that is very real and is definitely happening around you, the truth is that most of the situation is not happening right now or even in your immediate environment. Most of it is happening in your mind. You're worrying about your relatives or even worrying about strangers. You're imagining things getting worse. You're thinking about all of the things that you can't do anything about because you're stuck home or you're ill or whatever the situation might be. And because your mind is focused on either abstract ideas or imagined futures that are scary and out of your control, it's no wonder that you feel fearful and overwhelmed. So the first thing that you need to acknowledge to yourself is that this worrying and this fearful thinking is not helping the situation. It never does. Worrying doesn't fix it, doesn't solve it, doesn't help anybody, doesn't help anyone else, doesn't help you, and it doesn't make it better. It only puts you in a damaging, negative emotional state. So it's really about making the decision that you do not want to spend your time and energy on worry. It's tempting, but you need to make the decision not to do it. And once you make that decision, you can use the following strategy to take back control of your thoughts and emotions. You see, your thoughts are what create your emotions. And this can be hard to accept for many people. But this type of scenario is a great opportunity to develop your ability to observe your own thinking and therefore take back control of it, and therefore take back control of your emotions too. Now, it can be really hard to avoid worrying and being stressed out and fearful during a challenging situation like this. However, it is very possible to use strategies to both minimize your stress, which we're talking about in other videos, and also to change your thoughts in order to minimize your worrying. So let's look at a simple process that you can use to stop a negative, fearful train of thought. So just like a train that picks up speed and gets some good momentum going, once you have an emotional thought going on, you can't just stop it and change direction on a dime. If you did, the train would derail. You can't simply tell yourself to stop thinking about it either. That doesn't work. It's impossible. It's actually a psychological phenomenon called ironic process theory. So I want you to try it now. Do not think about a pink elephant. I forbid you to think about a pink elephant. So what's popping into your mind right now? A pink elephant. You see, the same thing happens with your thoughts and when you're worrying. You can't just tell yourself not to. So you can't stop thinking, and you can't exactly control your thoughts, but you can get better at managing and directing them. And the key to developing better control or management of your thinking is to practice observing your thoughts. So thoughts come and go, just like trains in a train station. Sometimes they move really fast, other times they move slow, sometimes they quickly pass through the station and they don't even stop there and then they're gone, and other times you just jump right on board and you get carried away by the train of thought. And sometimes they're negative trains and sometimes they're positive ones. And our minds are like having a train station with new trains of thought coming and going around the clock. So the key to minimizing worrying is to be more careful which trains you get on. You don't have to ride every train that enters your station. The goal is to stop it before it becomes a runaway train. And you do this by practicing being aware of what thought trains are going through your mind. So here is how to watch a train of thought. Practice it now and practice it often, because the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it, which is going to help you then prevent yourself from getting on those trains of thoughts when they happen in real life. That's why you want to practice ahead of time. So here are the steps. First, a train of thought comes in and you notice it. Second, you identify it. It's like, I notice that I'm having a thought about fill in the blank. Next, now you want to watch it leave. Don't engage with it. That's all it is. And then you repeat this for every thought that comes into your mind. Just let them go. So you might be wondering, well, that's all well and good, but what happens once you're already boarded onto a train that's going out of control? First, remember that you cannot just stop it, but you can jump from one train to another. And this is where healthy distractions can be very useful. When you notice yourself worrying or locked into fearful thinking, do something to shift your focus, and that's how you jump from one train to another. Remember, your thoughts are what are causing your emotions, so if you shift your thoughts to something else, you will feel better. So for instance, go for a walk, watch a funny video, do one of the healthy distractions that you identified, work on one of your goals, clean the house, take a nap, do something, anything that distracts you from the train of thought that you're on. Now here's a little key. The more intense focus that whatever this new thing requires of your brain, the easier it's going to be to get on that new train and not hop back on the old one. So you want it to really take up your mental energy. But if you do catch yourself thinking about it again, simply redirect your mind back to the new train. And again, practice, practice, practice. We understand that it is hard sometimes, but you can and will get better at managing the thoughts that run through your station. And you will feel a growing sense of peace, of calm, and empowerment as you do it.